I'm going to talk to you today about my current research project, which is funded by a bilateral grant from the UK Research Council and the German Research Council. It's a new post-Brexit funding programme. And this collaborative project is on the Íslendingasögur as prosimetrum, and I'll explain what that means. My field is Old Norse literature, medieval Scandinavian literature, known as Old Norse in the English-speaking world. And it's a large corpus of vernacular literature that's written down in Iceland in the 13th and 14th centuries. And one of the main components of the corpus are these long sagas. The word saga is an Old Norse word, that tell the stories of the founding generations of the settlers who came from Norway, often via Britain and Ireland, and settled in Iceland. And these are called the family sagas or the Íslendingasögur. And why they're particularly interesting is that there are about 40 of them, and they include about 750 stanzas of poetry that are spoken by characters in the sagas. And a lot of people read the sagas with just sort of skipping over the verses, but we're really interested in these verses in this project as really distinctive of the genre, so we're exploring them. And let me just explain why there's an interesting kind of juxtaposition of prose and verse in these sagas. The stanzas themselves, which are known as skaldic poetry, have really complex syntax, often with lots of asides and apostrophes, often to people who aren't present, often to women, as well as having really complex lexis. So they include lots of kennings or poetic circumlocutions that involve identifying people in a kind of riddling way, or identifying things like battle or love. Different abstractions can also be forms of kennings. So what happens when you have these highly complicated and sort of multifaceted little stanzas inserted, quoted by a saga character? They really disturb the flow of this prose narrative and do all kinds of interesting things to characterization and plot development. And because of their fractured syntax, they often sort of lead off and create lots of loose ends in the narrative that may or may not be picked up. So we're about halfway through our project now. We've got a postdoc in Cambridge and a postdoc in Tübingen in Germany, and we're meeting every week working on this huge database which has got thousands and thousands of entries in it now, and we're starting to reap the benefits of our database.